Yeah. Where them fans at, y'all? Okay. Hello, everyone, and shout out to each and every one of you as you tune up into the building with your girl Siren on the Siren Speak show. Okay. First of all, my shirt feeling a little extra schmedium up in here today. Okay. I just ate, and I probably had too much. No, I didn't have a lot of salt in my food. You would think that, honey. All right, shout out to those of you who got to be careful with your salt intake. I'm choosing to. It's more preventative than anything. Okay. So yeah. All right, that's a lot better. But anywho, hey y'all, shout out to each and every one of you guys, and welcome over here to the Siren Speak show with your girl Siren. Today we're going to be talking about dating in 2025 and understanding how to date. Now, there is a critical aspect of dating that I think is very rarely talking about, or spoken about, or spoken of, and it's something that we all should know. Okay, so one of the key factors of dating in 2025 and moving on is knowing or understanding the zodiac, okay, of the person that you are engaging with, or the people, if you're smart, okay? If you are one of those smart daters, okay? All my single ladies, all right? Please, y'all, one of my pet peeves is single women talking about they getting cheated on. Y'all, cut it out. Okay, single women, you cannot get cheated on. Okay, that is for the wife, right? Y'all stop thinking these men cheating on you. Okay, oh, he cheating on, no. Learn how to play the game. Okay, that's like a sore loser. Learn how to play the game. There's going to be multiple players until somebody wins. Did you win the man? Did you win the ring? That's what we need to know. Okay, so I just, when I keep, oh, he cheating on me, oh, he cheat. Level yourself up, okay? So anywho, let's talk about understanding the person that you're dating or you're choosing to date in 2025 by one more means of getting to know them, okay? And we're talking about the zodiac, you guys, okay? This is a very critical part of dating someone, is understanding their behavior with their zodiac, okay? So when it comes to the zodiac, you guys, it's like we want to know what it is that their upsides are, what their low sides are, what it is that we need to understand about this person. A lot of times when we start to date people, we don't understand a lot of things about them right away. And if you understand the zodiac aspect of them, you'll understand the reason they act the way they do, or the reason you're experiencing this aspect of them. Okay, hey to everyone who's tuning up into the building. Hello, hello, hello. Shout out to each and every one of you. Hello. Hey y'all. Hey everybody. Your names are very, very, very tiny, but I really, truly appreciate it, okay, for you guys tuning in and shouting out your girl, all right? So let's go ahead and let's get talking about these zodiac signs, okay, that we are engaging with, right? So the first one I have is Aries. All right. We all know Aries is the leader of the zodiac. It is the first, okay, alleged zodiac sign. We're going to keep it 3D, okay, for this. It is the first of the zodiac signs. So Aries, when you're dating someone, or, you're getting to know someone who is an Aries, there are some very critical things that you can look for or see in this person, or you can understand, okay, I get it. This is why they are this way, okay? And when it comes to Aries, we want to talk about the highs and the low side, okay? Because a lot of you, when you start dating someone who is a particular zodiac sign, you're like, no, I don't experience that about this person. And that's because you can either experience the higher side of them or the lower side of them. It varies. It's really up to where you vibrate towards, okay? So, I have to unbutton this. This is too tight. Okay. Oh my God. It's literally choking me. So, Aries. All right. So you're finally going out with someone and you ask them, hey, what is your zodiac sign? Okay. And they tell you, well, I'm an Aries. Now, let's talk about the lower sides of the Aries energy. If someone who is a lower or on the lesser side of their Aries energy, they can come off as very bossy, very controlling, very manipulative. Also, they can come off kind of violent, okay? Someone who's an Aries, and I'm not saying other people are not violent or other people may not be prone to domestic violence, but Aries who is vibrating in their lower side can possibly be prone to domestic violence type of behavior. So you just want to look at, how it is that they handle their anger or their frustration, or maybe you can ask them a question where it's like, let me see how would they respond to this type of scenario. Someone who is in the lower side of their Aries energy, not only can they be bossy, but sometimes they can come off a little narcissistic, okay, where it just has to be all about them. Aries typically like to shine. They usually like to be the leader. They like to create. They like people to follow or listen to them. So when you're dating someone who's an Aries, they may want to tell you, okay, what it is. Or when they talk to you, they say it as if what I'm saying is true and there's no reason for you to go verify any of this. They can come off a little, manipulative in their words and things of that nature. So you definitely want to make sure that when you are dating someone who is an Aries, okay, you want to make sure they're vibrating to the higher side of the Aries energy. Now, what is the higher side of the Aries energy? This person here is usually like a CEO. This person here is someone who has started their own business. They prefer to work for themselves, or either they have a dream of creating their own business. But when they are vibrating to their higher side, and Aries is already creating a business, or they already have their own business, or they are a supervisor, they are a manager, a COO, they're very high at a company, or like I say, they're either in charge of other people. Now, if you are dating someone who works at a company, okay, and they're not a supervisor, they're like a janitor or whatever it is. Hey to everyone who's tuning up, and then hey Rosa, hey, how are you guys? Hello. So when you are dating someone who is an Aries and they are not in like a managerial position, that's kind of like a red flag to me. If I'm in a connection or dating someone who is a Aries person and they're not in a leadership position or a managerial position, or they're not working for themselves or have created their own company, I automatically know that they're vibrating to the lesser side of the Aries energy, which means they would typically just be a general employee, okay? With no, position of power whatsoever. So if you are dating someone and they are an Aries and, like I said, they're not in any type of leadership role or position, you may want to encourage them. Now, I'm not saying that you got to break up with them or, or leave them. But what I'm saying, you can encourage them to see what it is that they can do, because once that person gets into that right version of the Aries energy, that's where you want to be, okay? Ain't nothing like being with old healthy Aries, okay? So when they are vibrating to their higher self, you guys, they usually, now the only thing about the Aries is that they tend to be rather bossy on both ends, the higher side and the lower side, okay? The higher side, when they can become very bossy, meaning like, they're in control of the finances. Maybe in the marriage, the Aries is the successful one. Maybe that's the one with the great business, or they're in a very high position at a company and they make a lot of money. Aries, when they're vibrating high, they can make good amount of money, okay? And when they have the money, they tend to want to control, like here, you'll have access to this account or this particular card, or here's your allowance for the week, or, things of that nature. Meaning it's not a bad thing, but it can be, because any means of control, Aries has got to become comfortable with being taken care of or not being in charge or in control, okay? So that's the Aries, you guys. Next, we're going to talk about Leo, okay? Now, Leo, when we're looking at the lesser side of a Leo, Leos usually like to be in the spotlight, okay? So if you are dealing with the Leo who is in their lesser side, typically this person here is going to be shy. They're going to be in hermit mode. They don't like to leave the house. They don't like to go anywhere. They don't like to dress themselves up. You know, they just don't really take care of their hygiene, or they don't take care of, you know, the way they look. You know, they all over the place. A low vibrating Leo can be rather nasty and filthy. Y'all know that little character from Charlie Brown, the little dusty one, that with the little poof of dirt all around them. That is like a Leo energy. Okay, that is a Leo vibrating to their lesser self. And you definitely don't want that type of energy around you, because a Leo is just, when they're vibrating to the lower aspect of them, that can be a very heavy vampiric type of energy to have around, which means they will only pull from your blessings. Okay, so when you have someone who is vibrating towards a Leo and the lower side of Leo, you want to be very, very, very cautious about how close you allow this person to get to you. And once you see, okay, you're a Leo, and you're very quiet, you're very timid, because a Leo they love to be on the spot or in the spotlight. They love to shine. Okay, they're very creative. They're very, like, whatever it is that they do, they're very good at just about everything that they do. Whatever it is that they like to do, they're very good at it. So you definitely want to make sure that you're, in contact with a Leo that definitely has that light bulb on. Now, when we're dating a Leo who is in the higher aspect of it, more than likely this person here is going to be like a celebrity. If they're not famous like that, they can be very popular or a socialite. Like, no matter where you go, somebody know this mofo. Okay, it's like, God. That's how Leo is. Everybody knows Leo. So that's why I said, if you have a Leo who's vibrating to the lesser side of themselves, then they're not going to nobody will know who they are. They like to be quiet. They like to, stay in a corner. They really don't like to go out and be on the scene. They don't like to be around a lot of people. A Leo is very flashy when they're in their healthy aspect of themselves. So they love to be on the scene. They love to be recognized. They love to be, and the conversation always going to be about them, okay, in the high aspect and a low aspect. They can become narcissistic as well, because especially in the lower side, they'll get frustrated with you because they're not living in their higher version, and then they'll blame you, which can typically lead a Leo to addictive behaviors that are not healthy: alcohol, drugs, overeating, whatever type of habit, whatever type of vice, when they're vibrating to their lower side. So you definitely want to catch a Leo in their higher side. The only thing about Leo being in a higher side, like I say, all the women or men want them. Okay, they look good. They look like what everybody wants. You know what I'm saying? They're like just, ooh, Leo, you know what I'm saying? It's that type of energy, and everybody wants to connect with Leo. Everybody knows Leo, and Leo loves it like that, especially when they're in their higher self. They give everybody their phone number. So you got to have your heart in the right space. And they don't give everybody their phone number with the intent of, oh, call me. It's really like, yeah, call me, hit me up, let me know. You know what I'm saying? It can be rather innocent, but to a woman or to a man who's dating a Leo and you're in your insecurity, then that can be rather tough, because everybody knows Leo. Everybody wants to be around Leo. Everybody wants to hang out with Leo. It is what it is. Okay. So if they're not like a celebrity, if they're not like a socialite or very popular, they're probably vibrating to their lower self. Okay, so I'm just saying, like, be very careful. Leos, if you're not out there where you're supposed to be in the spotlight, then, just work on yourselves. Okay. All right. Next up, we're going to talk about Cancer. All right. Cancer on the lower side, they tend to have mommy issues. Okay. They tend to deal with a lot of abandonment issues, so they can come off rather clingy when they're vibrating to their lower side. Cancers, they can be very, very, very emotional. They can just, oh God, they could be on 100 all the time. You get tired of a low vibrational Cancer being on 100 all the dang on time. All right. Cancers, when they vibrate to the lower side of themselves, they can also be prone to addictive behaviors, okay, like drugs and or alcohol, because they like to escape. A Cancer is a water energy, so they want to escape. They want to take their mind into another dimension, into another thought process. They don't want to sit in the physical. They become very dreamy. They can just stay in just unrealistic expectations, or, just things of that nature. So whenever you're dealing with a Cancer who is in the lower side of Cancer, just keep you some tissue, okay? Because there's a lot of crying, a lot of emotions. Again, whenever any of these signs are in their lower side, it can become very vampiric. So you definitely want to make sure that when you are looking for people, or when you are out there dating and you tend to notice this person is in the lesser side of themselves, just know that it is you and your energy that they are pulling from. Okay. So yeah, Cancer on the lower side can have mommy issues, either themselves as a mother, or if they're a man, they may have issues when it comes to the mother. Either they're very close to the mother, or they're very distant from the mother. Either way, okay, it's not good. Either he's a mama's boy, or either he's very distant, or she's a mommy's girl, or she's very distant, however it is, okay? But on the higher side with Cancer, Cancer can give you the best advice. Oh my God, Cancer, you just want to, hey, Cancer, what do I do with, Cancer has the best advice. They're very intuitive, and they're a nurturing energy. Cancer is connected to the energy of the moon, so they're very nurturing. It's somebody who's always going to have the answers for you, regardless of what the situation is. A Cancer has got the answer, okay? And you definitely want to make sure that if you are engaging with a Cancer, that you are engaging with a Cancer in a higher vibration. Okay, the higher side of Cancer. They are going to want to take care of you. They are going to want to nurture you. They're going to want to care about your emotions, your feelings. They're going to want to, just hear what you got to say. They want to know, how was your day today? They want to know, they can tend to ask a lot of questions, all right? But they definitely like to connect to feelings and emotions. So with dealing with the good side of Cancer, they're going to buy you stuff for your birthday. They're going to buy you those flowers for Valentine's Day, okay? Because they want to, show you love. They want to nurture your emotions. So that's one thing about the higher side of a Cancer, is that they will, okay, provide you with some great satisfaction emotionally. They're going to hold your hand in public. They're going to kiss you as soon as they see you. They're going to hug you, and they're like, all of those things. That's very Cancer energy when they are vibrating to the higher self, okay? Now let's move into Taurus. Let's move into Taurus. All right, Taurus on the lower side. Ooh, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend ride, trying to holler at me. That's a Taurus on the lower side. Hanging at the passenger side of his best friend ride. That is a Taurus all day. A Taurus on the lower side is, let me get $5. Let me flip that. Let me hold something till next week. A Taurus vibrating to the lower side, they're not stable at all. They are the most codependent. Those are the Jodies. Remember Yvonne and Yvette and Jody, when she used to go to work and he used to drop her off to work in her car and drive her car around all day? Okay, and then talk about the little $5 plate that he bought to put in your house when you pay all the bills, and just one day he just so happened to come up on a lick and he go and say, oh, I bought some plates. You know what I'm saying? That is Taurus in its lower energy. A Taurus in its lower energy is definitely somebody you may not want to be caught up with, because financially they're just not stable. Okay, money may come here and there, and when it come, it don't last. They're very financially irresponsible. They don't know how to save. They need your money. They want your money. It's always this. It's always that. A Taurus who's not in their higher self can also be prone to a lot of illnesses, because they may not take care of themselves. They may not, go get checked out. A Taurus who vibrates to their lower self will have a hard time holding on to a job, okay? They always looking for work, or they get a job and they quit it all the time, or either they get fired. It's just something always go down when it comes to work, okay, with the Taurus who's vibrating in his lower self or in her lower self. Taurus is all about status, it's all about money. Taurus is that I have type of energy. And when you're looking at the lesser side of Taurus, they don't have status, they don't have money, they don't have anything. So you have to constantly get it for them, okay? But when Taurus is vibrating to the higher self, baby, they're like a little Lucky Charm. Okay, Taurus naturally attracts the finer things because that's connected to their energy. A Taurus will naturally attract nice, fine, bougie things. Okay, they love nice restaurants. They love the bougie side of town. They love designer clothing. They love nice, fancy cars, and it comes to them naturally. I wouldn't call Taurus like a brand whore. I wouldn't do that, or a label whore. I wouldn't do that because honestly, Taurus naturally attracts the finer things in life. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and so is Libra. So Taurus and Libra have that same type of energy. They love nice things, okay? So when you vibrate to a Taurus that is on their higher self, they are going to buy you expensive stuff. Okay, a Taurus, like when you date regular specular jugglers and then you get with a Taurus, you best believe you're going to get some nice things. You're going to get some quality things when they are vibrating to the higher side of themselves. Okay, now the reason, one thing about a Taurus that, you know, Taurus can be very selfish. I don't want to say are, but they can be very selfish. That's one of the, and that's on the high and the low side. Okay, where a Taurus will buy you nice things, but it's not because they want you to have nice things. It's because they want to be with someone who carries nice things. Why? Because that makes them look good. Oh, dang, boy, I see your girl over there with that Birkin. Oh my God. Like, Taurus likes everything around them to look good, so you can benefit from that, from a Taurus that is in a very healthy, energy, okay? They come in contact with a lot of money easily. Like, they attract money easily when they vibrate to their higher self. They will always have good luck when it comes to either a business or either when it comes to a job or any type of money ventures. Taurus will have a lot of good luck because they attract, okay? Their frequency, their main frequency is nice status, high-end stuff, designer, bougie lunches, dinners, food, and stuff like that. They're naturally, it's like that's just their natural energy. So that's why I say when they vibrate to the lower side of themselves, they don't attract this type of stuff. They attract, bad experiences and, low vibrational things, barely making it here and there. But one thing about a Taurus, even in their low vibrational state, they're that type of person that never has any money but always got nice, you know what I'm saying? As soon as they get $100, they're going to go buy $100 item. As opposed to like, oh, let me buy, 50 little small items. No, Taurus is going to take that whole $100 and go buy something that's worth $100. And it's probably going to be worth $140. And they're going to be looking at you like, you got $40? That is a Taurus energy for you, okay? So just know when it comes to Taurus, they are little lucky charms, okay? Because I always question the Taurus, be like, if you ain't got no money, how you get all this? They just naturally have to live in an environment where, they just attract nice things, okay? So a Taurus, they're going to have a stable job, okay? Regardless of what the environment is, they're going to maintain, if they're vibrating to their higher self, they will always maintain a stable job, a stable position, things of that nature. Money will come, like I say, money will run like water to a Taurus that's vibrating to their higher self. So shout out to them. The next one is Aquarius. Okay, when Aquarius is vibrating to the lower side of them, child, liar, pants on fire. Okay, you can't trust nothing come out of their mouth. Now, one thing about Aquarius is they're very inquisitive. They can be nosy. Okay, they love gossip when they vibrate to the lower side of themselves. They love the tea. Ooh, child, what's the tea? What's going on? They know everybody's business at their job. They know everybody. They love gossip when they vibrate to the lower side of themselves. So an Aquarius who vibrates low can tend to gossip, or they will come and tell you all the tea about any and everything that they can get it on, okay? They don't tend to connect to the truth. So an Aquarius can, they can be trapped in their own head, okay? Aquarius loves freedom, but when they're not vibrating to the higher side of themselves, they can feel trapped. They can impose their own restriction in life. It's like, if you just stop thinking like that, maybe you can move forward. They'll always believe, the glass is half empty. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of mentality that they'll have when they vibrate to that lesser aspect of themselves. Again, they tend to get a lot of misinformation. It can come off as a lie, or they just be making stuff up. Again, self-imposed or self-inflicted mental, spiritual, emotional wounds. You know, they'll believe things that aren't true just so that they can be a victim in a situation. But when they are vibrating to the higher aspect of themselves, this is someone who you can have a very stimulating conversation with. This is someone who can help you out with a lot of ideas. They can give you great ideas when it comes to whatever you have or whatever you need in life. You want to ask an Aquarius who's vibrating to their higher self. They are very innovative, okay? They are good when it comes to technology, when it comes to building things, when it comes to creating things, when it comes to things that haven't been created. They're very good with that futuristic type of energy. So if there's something that you want to bring into a reality or into an existence, you want to definitely get some advice from an Aquarius person. And if you're dating an Aquarius person who's vibrating to the higher aspect of themselves, child, listen, tell them to give you some good information on, you know, investing, good information on starting a business, good information on competition, good information on the type of technology that you should be engaging with. Like your social media, oh my God, they should be the bomb at social media, really getting you on platforms that can get you out there, that can track more numbers and things of that nature. If you have your own business, you definitely want to hook up with an Aquarius, okay, so that they can give you all of the technology that you need as far as the SEO and all of that stuff on your business. Listen, hook up with an Aquarius, okay? Now, the good thing, another thing about Aquarius, they do have stimulating conversations. They can talk a little bit, okay? I'm gonna let you know that they can talk a little bit. They love a good conversation, and if they're vibrating to their higher self, these conversations will be very stimulating. They can give you some great advice, some great news, some great information. You'll love conversations with these people with an Aquarius. And one thing about Aquarius is they watch, okay? Aquarius watch everything you do. Please do not think you can get over on an Aquarius. Aquarius knows everything. They just don't tell you they know, okay? So if you are cheating on an Aquarius, okay, or if you are lying to an Aquarius, especially one who's vibrating to their higher self, stop it right away. They know. Right? And Aquarius will quit, okay, on you real quick. They will walk to the left real quick on your arse, okay, when they don't want to deal with the BS. Aquarius loves truth. They do not like liars. They do not like people who, you know, so if you are a person and you run into somebody who's an Aquarius and maybe they're a wealthy, you know, person, you better tell them the truth. Okay, because they know they're very, like, they wired differently. They're wired to recognize the truth or discern the truth from lies. Okay, so just be very careful out there when you're dating an Aquarius. Okay, one who's vibrating to their higher self. The lower side, master manipulator, liar. You can't really trust anything that they say. They just seem lost. Okay, they just don't know if they go into the right, to the left. They don't know what they want to do. They're very confused in life. You know what I'm saying? They just like floating through life like it's just the way to go. All right. Next, we're going to move into Libra. I forgot to put Scorpio on here. Hold on, y'all. Ooch, Scorpio. All right. We're continuing to talk about dating in 2025 according to the Zodiac. Okay, what you need to know when you're dating someone who is in alignment with these Zodiacs. Okay, so we're going to move on to Libra next. Okay, Libra. When Libra is vibrating to the lesser side of themselves, they can become very violent because they're very unbalanced, okay? Now, Libra represents the scales. When it's balanced, all is fair. But when it is not, you better run for the border, okay? Because a Libra who is not vibrating to their higher self, you guys, or the higher version or the higher side of Libra, they can be liars, they can be cheaters, they can steal from you, they can hurt you. It's like the bad side of justice, okay? Libra represents the justice scale. So if they're vibrating to the lesser side of themselves, just think about unfairness. Things just being unfair, okay? Whatever can happen where you can go to jail for it, that's Libra. vibrate into their lower self. Okay, so you got to be very careful when you're dating a Libra who's vibrating to his lower self or her lower self, because like I said, they're very unbalanced. So they can be unpredictable. They can just snap like this. You know, they will go 100 in a second over the smallest little thing. They cannot control their emotions. They cannot control their thoughts. They cannot control their words. The stuff that they say to you. A Libra is an air sign, so they speak. When a Libra is pissed off at you, oh, he's going off or she's going off on you, your mama, your unborn kids, okay? Worse than the dang on Psalms in the Bible, honey. Talk about how we gonna get rid of 4 and 5 generations and stuff. Whoosh. A Libra that's vibrating to the lower side of Libra has no respect for you. I mean, just don't expect no respect. They will curse you out. They will curse your mama out. They will curse your grandmama out, okay? They just do not care, all right? And it's because Libras, when they're out of balance like that, they don't feel comfortable like that. You know, they don't really like being out of balance. They really don't know how to get in balance, and they become very frustrated, which means they can take it out on whomever. You could get it, they could get it, the baby could get it, everybody could get it when it comes to Libra being unbalanced. But when they are balanced, oh, Libra, when they just think about justice, just think about everything getting fixed, okay? Libra is going to want to fix everything in your life. Okay. Libra is going to want to balance everything out for you. I, love that Libra energy when it's very healthy, because it is so pure. It is so respectful. It is so loving. It's like I said, it's like the good side of justice when things is fair, when everything is like the way it's supposed to be, everything falls in alignment. So a Libra who's vibrating to their higher self, you guys, they're going to be very protective of you. Very protective. They're not going to let nobody and nothing do anything, okay, to you. They're going to be very, very, very protective of you. But when they are vibrating to their lower self, they can become the abuser. Okay, they can become very abusive verbally, physically, financially, however, it is. But that's why you want to deal with the Libra when they are in the higher version of themselves, because, they, like I say, they tend to be very loving. Again, Libra is ruled by Venus. So, of course, they're very loving when they're ruled by that loving planet of Venus. They love a very long relationship. Libra loves being in relationships. Okay. However, when they vibrate to the lesser side of themselves, they can be cheaters. Okay. As with anybody, but especially a Libra, because Libra rules the 7th house, which is about partnerships, okay? Legal partnerships as well as love partnerships. So if they're vibrating to the lesser side, they're going to try to get over on people, or they're going to cheat on you. But when a Libra vibrates to the higher side, they are a partner for life, okay? They're a very, very, very loving partner. They're a very trusting partner. They're just, they're there. It's like they're the perfect other half, when they're vibrating to the higher aspect of themselves. So yeah, deal with Libra. Okay. All right. Sagittarius. All right. So dating in 2025 with a Sagittarius. Okay. Now let's talk about Sagittarius on the lower side of it. Ooh, chair. Sagittarius on the lower side is a mean, nasty bowl of cereal, okay? Sagittarius, when they vibrate to the lesser side of the energy, oh my God, they are such whores. I'm sorry, Sagittarius. You guys, Sagittarius is just, it's a big energy. Sagittarius is not an energy to be kept in a box, okay? It's not an energy to be kept in a box. It's not going to be kept in a box. Sagittarius love to expand, which means Sagittarius can be and Sagittarius is going to want to date like 50 people. I got pros. Yes, in different area codes. Yes, area code. That is Sagittarius energy. But they have it honest. Sagittarius is not a one lover person. Okay, Sagittarius needs to have multiple lovers, because Sagittarius has such a big energy. It's like one person cannot take and know what to do with all that energy. Sagittarius love different things. Today, they may want one race Tomorrow they can want a Boricua. Next they want a Hawaiian. Next they want an Egyptian. Next they want an African. Like Sagittarius wants some of everything. Sagittarius is the type that just eats everything at once. The energy is very big when it comes to Sagittarius, okay? Which means they tend to date, like Sagittarius are the people who like long distance relationships as well. So if you can deal with that, you can deal with the Sagittarius. But like I said, they love to have multiple folk. Okay, and the higher side and the lower side. I ain't gonna say the higher side is any better. Sagittarius is a very big energy, and it takes a very big energy person to be able to handle a Sagittarius. You have to be so confident, so healed, so loving. You have to have so much self-love in yourself to be with a Sagittarius that, you want to be loyal to you. Because the thing about it is that Sagittarius, like I said, because their energy is so big, I don't know if one person can really handle or maintain, because like I say, they like different things. Sagittarius don't like the same thing. They get bored like this. Okay, it's like you gonna have to just go in a machine and transform into another person, another version of yourself. You gotta keep it very spicy. It's hard to keep Sagittarius entertained with just the same old thing. It's so difficult, okay? And my heart goes out to anyone who is dating or dealing with a Sagittarius. Okay. I don't even know if I can handle it. I'm like, whoosh, Sagittarius is a big energy, okay? So when they vibrate into the lesser side of them, they're not very well traveled, okay? They're not lucky. They tend to have bad luck, okay? When they're vibrating to the lesser side of them. They're not very popular because the Sagittarius is a big energy, so they tend to be very popular. People always know Sagittarius. Now, when they're vibrating to the higher side of themselves, okay, a Sagittarius is very lucky. So they always are taking a chance. That's the only thing, because when you're dealing with a Sagittarius, they're gonna take chances on businesses that you like. What? They're like, yeah, let's just invest everything right here. You like, Sagittarius have that when they are vibrating to the higher self, they're the luckiest on earth, okay? They carry the energy of luck. They are the energy of good luck and taking chances. So Sagittarius is more like a take a chance type of energy as opposed to getting a regular job. Like that would throw them so far off. Like that's a Sagittarius that's vibrating to their lower side. Sagittarius, they're good gamblers. They win a lot when it comes to gambling. Like I said, because that's just their natural energy. So, when it comes to that higher aspect of them, like I said, it's just a big energy. Sagittarius is going to take all y'all life savings and like invest it in the drop of a dime. And you're like, wait, what? And then next thing you know, it's like they win and they win big, right? But you're like, how do you know you're going to win or not? Like sometimes they don't win. And they're like, okay, we didn't win. We lost all of our life savings. It's okay. You like, wait, hold up. So this is why Sagittarius have a hard time, holding on in relationships or people holding on to them, because they are the luck of the draw. Okay, they make moves that majority of us, we don't make. We're very cautious when it comes to the type of moves that we make and the things that we do. And Sagittarius is like, let's just throw spaghetti and see what sticks. Okay, and let's just go with that. And you're like, no, let's make it make sense. Okay, and they're like, no, it's not that difficult. Let's just go. That's Sagittarius type of energy. They travel at the drop of a dime. You know what I'm saying? Nothing packed. We'll just buy some when we get there. That's Sagittarius. We don't even need to take no clothing, no luggage. Let's just buy some when we get there. And whatever we don't like, we'll just leave it there and come back here. And you're just like, so if you're somebody who's a great planner and you like things planned to the T, then you definitely may have an issue when it comes to being with a Sagittarius. Okay, so good luck with that idea. We're gonna move on to Capricorn, you guys. Okay, Capricorn. Now, dating in 2025 with a Capricorn. Now, the lower side of Capricorn is they can become very controlling. Okay, and they can demoralize you. A Capricorn can make you feel bad about yourself. They can talk down to you. They don't want you feeling like you're greater than them. They can secretly be in competition with you, and you don't know it. A weak Capricorn man does not like his woman to work, okay? Capricorn men love to be the head of the household. They love to be the breadwinner. They love to, I'm going to take care of the household bills. You take care of the kids. They like a woman to be in her divine feminine energy, but that can be to a fault, okay? Like if a woman is working, a Capricorn man will sometimes have a problem with that, whether he's vibrating to the higher or lesser side of himself, because a Capricorn man loves to be in his masculine energy. He loves to be the breadwinner. He loves to be the provider. He loves the woman to be the nurturer. However, there comes a time where the woman now moves into that, okay, I've been nurturing the kids and I've been nurturing you. Now it's time for me to nurture myself. And when she nurtures herself, when she wants to start that business or go to school to get that degree, Capricorn men usually tend to have a little conflict with that because they feel like you're stepping over into their territory and they don't want you to do that. They feel like a woman belongs in her divine feminine energy. And it is in her divine feminine energy when she is seeking things to better herself or to, to make her feel better. That's the only thing about a Capricorn that I can let you know when they're vibrating to that lower side. They may not be able to take care of home. They can fall behind on bills. One thing about a Capricorn man, he does tend to find work. Now, whether he's vibrating high or low, he does tend to find work easily, because he vibrates naturally towards that masculine energy, which is that provider type of energy. But he can find jobs that barely, where he can barely pay the bills. He can barely keep the bills paid on time. He can be behind and things of that nature. So when we're looking at a Capricorn in the higher aspect of Capricorn, now we're talking about somebody who can take care of home. Again, I told you the downside of the Capricorn man is that he typically does not like his woman to, work. He likes her home. He likes her, cooking. He wants a meal when he get home. He likes her taking care of the children. He loves her nurturing him and things of that nature. He loves her to be ready. When you come home late, tap me on my shoulder, I'll roll over. Baby, I heard you. I'm here to serve you. That's what he like, okay? Like, whatever. Tap me on my shoulder, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? That's the Capricorn man, the woman that the Capricorn man typically wants. He loves her in her feminine energy. So that's where the conflict tends to come when it comes to a Capricorn man. Like I said, when you're a woman who now you maybe nurtured him or you're trying to get your own thing started, he may not support you. He may feel like, I feel like you should be doing something at home. I feel like you should be, nurturing the plants. Okay, I know the kid's grown, but we got plants over here that you could, he doesn't want you to tap into that masculine aspect of yourself. So he can have a little problem with that. But outside of that, he's a very good provider. When I say a Capricorn man is a good provider, honey, he is a good provider when he is in his higher aspect of self. I definitely was thinking about a Capricorn once, but no. Okay. Next up, you guys, we're going to talk about Gemini. Okay. I wanted to save a Gemini. In 2025, dating a Gemini that is vibrating to the lesser side of themselves, honey. Ooh. First of all, Gemini are two people. Okay. They are crazy and they're genius. Two different sides, okay? They are not the same side at the same time. You're either going to date the crazy side of Gemini or the genius side, okay? And this is for the lower side and the higher side, okay? Both of them have two different sides to themselves, and one side does not know the other. So when you're dating a Gemini, you will be dating two different people. One is nice, one is nasty, period. Okay, one is nice as can be, and the other one is nasty, and the nice one does not know the nasty one, and the nasty one does not know the nice one. So when you're dating a Gemini, they can be very nasty to you. Okay, they can be very standoffish to you. They can be very quiet. Okay, and they can say things that may not be the best, okay, because Gemini is an air sign, right? But Gemini has that twin energy, so it can, speak in different ways to you. It can speak to you verbally, or it can speak to you physically by doing something to, kind of make you mad or things of that nature. Gemini is just, oh my God, it's one of the craziest energies. You got to be a very strong person to date a Gemini. Okay, kudos to Kim Kardashian and this little other girl who's dating Kanye. Okay, that's an old messy bowl of soup right there. That Gemini, ooh, just alphabet soup, okay, bowl of craziness, right? Now, this is when Gemini is vibrating to the lesser side of themselves, okay? Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. There's nothing else I can even say, okay? That's just the best way I can say it. I'm using the best words that I can possibly use to describe Gemini. I love y'all, Gemini, but y'all craziest, okay? Y'all just out there with it. When you're dealing with the lesser side of Gemini, they can be very violent. They can throw tantrums. They can be disrespectful. They can be manipulative. Again, they can give you the silent treatment. They can just move away or walk away or just leave you, for a while. Like when they don't want to talk, they're not going to talk. You're not going to make a Gemini engage in a conversation that they don't want to engage in. Now, when they're vibrating to the higher side, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's two different people. When a Gemini, now see, the thing about Gemini is that they can vibrate to both sides. I don't think you can get them to only be in their higher side. I have not ever seen that, because Gemini has a switch that goes off that I don't know who's controlling that switch when it comes to Gemini. I don't know who got their hand on the button, but Gemini has this switch where they just bloop, and then they just transform into the other version of themselves. And that nice version of them, oh man, want to take care of you. It's very loving. It's very sincere. It's very respectful. I mean, just very nurturing. I mean, you have the best time with Gemini when they're vibrating to their higher side. They give off bestie type of energy, right? But when that switch, you never know when the switch is going to hit with Gemini. That's the thing about it. The switch can hit on their way home from work. The switch can hit, they go in a room, in the bathroom. Y'all watching a great movie. Y'all laid up having a good movie night. They go in the bathroom. That switch can flip and they come out and it's just like, oh God, what has happened? What has happened to Gemini? Very little things. I don't know exactly what can trigger them. They know what can trigger them. And Gemini has to definitely work on healing. Okay. Unhealed Gemini, meaning whether it's childhood trauma, past life trauma, this life trauma, mama trauma, sister trauma, whatever the trauma may be when it comes to Gemini, they definitely need to heal that. Okay. And I think that it can just, like I say, that switch can flip at any time. Like, it's not like you could piss a Gemini off. You don't have to do anything to a Gemini. Okay? That switch will just bloop. And next thing you know, they just on to the next. They're in that frequency, in that energy. And like I said, they can be very nasty. Very nasty, but they can be very nice. You ever seen those commercials with the Sour Patch? Y'all seen that Sour Patch? That's a Gemini. They beat the out of you and then, oh, come here and put a Band-Aid on it and make you feel all. That's Gemini, okay? It's like the Sour Patch. So good luck to anybody who's dealing with a Gemini. I, Siren, do not have the time, okay, in this lifetime or any lifetime to be dealing with a Gemini again. I dealt with a Gemini in the past. My boy's father was a Gemini, okay? Y'all heard the term was, okay, a Gemini, okay? I'll tell y'all that story time for another date. But honey, Gemini and I don't got time for it. I don't got time for that switcheroo thing. I don't know what's behind it and how to, I don't know how they can control it, or I don't know. So shout out to y'all who can handle, Gemini, okay? Next up, you guys, we're going to talk about Virgo, okay? Who out there got a Virgo? You know what I'm saying? I was in love with a Virgo. So Virgo, when they're vibrating to the lower side of themselves, they can have OCD. Okay. Virgo is just nitpick either in the house or with you. Okay, they're like that strand, get that, there you go. You're like, wait, hold up, who would have? Virgo is, they're a perfectionist. They take too long to do things. As they walking out the door, they got to see a spot in the rug where they got to pick up the little piece of, trash or whatever that is. They're very distracted because they're looking at every little thing. Okay. So Virgo can tend to be a little OCD. Also, Virgo can bring a lot of, I want to say, bad juju, okay? Because Virgo is a very nature type of energy. It is connected to the natural flow of nature, the laws, okay, of the universe. Virgo is easily connected to that. So when they're vibrating to their lower self, they can throw off those laws in your frequency, which can cause a little bit of, like I say, bad juju, bad luck, crazy things happening to you or to your items or things of that nature. So when you got a Virgo around you that is not vibrating to their higher self, you will definitely know, okay? It's like things in your house start to break. You keep a lot of bad appliances around. Once you fix your car, something else break on it. Your finances can be a little all over the place when you have a Virgo around that's not vibrating to their higher self. So you definitely want to make sure that you're able to deal with that aspect of them, help them heal. That's what I say. You can raise a man, okay? You can raise that woman if you're willing to invest in helping them to heal, and that's unconditionally. That's not, if I help you to heal, you got to stay with me. If you help them to heal and they move on to somebody else, then guess what? That is just the way it was supposed to go, okay? Don't take it personal. Take the bitter with the sweet. Woo, okay? Easy come, easy go. That's how you got to be, right? So dealing with the Virgo on the higher side. Now, when you have a healthy Virgo, you ever heard that term, happy wife, happy life? Happy husband, happy life, whatever. When you're dealing with a healed and high vibrating Virgo, heaven! We're talking heaven sent. We're talking living in the pearly gates while you here on earth. We're talking heaven on earth, okay? That's because they bring in the natural flow of life, the natural flow of or rhythm of the laws of the universe. Everything happens in your life as if magic almost, Virgo is connected to that very magical type of energy because it goes beyond the laws of the physical dimension. It goes into the laws of the universe, okay? So they tend to bring about a lot of balance, okay, in your life, and a lot of serendipity in your life. And, like I say, just a lot of, good luck or synchronization or flow. Okay, is what they tend to bring in your life when they're vibrating to the higher aspect of themselves. A healthy Virgo, honey, oh man, that's like eating real, Beyond Meat. Like, it really ain't meat, you know what I'm saying? But it tastes just like meat, and it's not that stuff that they say it is, okay? It's like going into a mall with like maybe a $250 budget, and you walk into a store and they say, hey, you're the 500th customer, you get a $2,500 gift card. Like, that is Virgo healthy energy. Like, you with a Virgo and stuff like that happens, you know what I'm saying? Where the universe just takes care of you, right? So shout out to a good old healthy Virgo. Okay, nothing like a good old healthy Virgo. All right, let's move on, you guys. Next up, we have Pisces. Lying, sneaky, whorish Pisces. Okay, now Pisces, you guys, when we are dating in 2025 and we're connecting to a Pisces that is vibrating to the lower side of Pisces, these are the most sneaky, lying, delusional son of a somethings. You can't trust that a Pisces says. Now, it's not to their fault, because Pisces is a very deep, watery type of energy, which means Pisces comes from an energy where everything is nothing, is something, is nothing. It's like Pisces come from that energy where the energy is there, but it isn't anything yet. let me try to explain it like this. Okay, you see my phone, right? Now, before this case, before this case looked like this, it was a thought in somebody's mind, meaning it wasn't physical. It was just an idea. It was energy, right? So before they made it into this, they could transform it at any time. It didn't have to have pink. They could say, oh, red or yellow and green or purple and white. Okay, this is the final thought process, right? So Pisces is that idea energy where it can be anything, right? It's that energy right there. So Pisces, the reason when they're vibrating to their lower self, they can be so delusional is because they tend to believe their own lies, okay? Pisces will lie to you and will tell you some stuff that is not true, but it is true to them. Well, they're really, yeah, I was over there, girl. And really get mad because you don't believe it. And you like, you wasn't, why is you really want me to believe that? Yes. Now, when Pisces also vibrate to the lesser side of themselves, you guys, they can become horrible addictive gamblers. Okay, when Pisces are unhealthy, they gamble a lot. So if you're dealing with the Pisces who gambles, then you know you are dealing with the Pisces that is in the lesser side of themselves. Okay. Pisces can also drink. Now, one thing about a Pisces, I notice Pisces really don't like to drink. So if you see a Pisces that drinks or drinks to where they get toasted like that, I would say run, because it's beyond delusion. It's giving outside entity, like something else has taken over their body. Because, you know, beings or entities or outside energies love to, you know, connect to a Pisces because that mindset, okay? It can be manipulated and it can be used to create some really crazy things, okay? So yeah, a Pisces vibrating to the lower side of themselves can be rather delusional, okay? So be very careful when you're dealing with the Pisces who's vibrating to the lower side of themselves. And like I say, they can adopt very unhealthy habits. Like I say, mainly a gambling habit. You know, you don't want it to be drugs or alcohol, because when you're looking at that heavy, deep water, that's like the abyss. It goes deep. Like, it's not on the surface at all. It goes very deep. So Pisces who can go that deep plus drinking, that's giving poltergeist, okay? But when Pisces are vibrating to the higher side of Pisces, oh my God, they're very creative. They're very creative. They can give you some bomb ideas, okay? They're very, like, they're there for you. They want to hold your hand in public as well. They want to propose to you. They want to marry you. They want a big wedding, okay? They want all of those loving things. They're there for you. They're great. They give good advice. They talk to you, they listen to you, you have great conversations with them. You know, they're the type that just, you know, kiss you before they go to bed and things of that nature, and want to see you, want to be with you, things of that nature. So when it comes to a Pisces in their finances, because remember, Pisces is connected to the finances because of the water energy. Now, the thing about Pisces is that money come and go when it comes to Pisces. It's hard for them to kind of, you know, hold on to money. So instead of Pisces being gamblers, the healthier Pisces would be a great investor. They would invest their money, okay, into making it go faster and making it grow and things of that nature. But, you know, like I said, when they vibrate to the lesser side of themselves, they get rid of it. They gamble and lose and lose. They will lose everything, okay? An unhealthy Pisces will gamble, any and everything, right? But they are great investors when they are healthy, okay? They give great advice, great ideas, very communicative, very loving, okay? It's just because they still are a little delusional, even in the higher aspect of themselves. That's why I say it becomes great advice. It could be a great idea. Like a Pisces, a healthy Pisces can write a bomb movie. Anything that's not like, you know, like real, you know what I'm saying? A Pisces is going to be good at that. They're very delusional. I ain't gonna lie. But they can create some great stories, some great movies, great songs. Okay, they can become good songwriters. Anything where they're just, creating, writing books. Okay, things of that nature. That's good for Pisces as well. Keep them busy. Okay, that's how you keep a healthy Pisces. You got to keep them busy. You got to keep that mind going on the right path. Okay. So we're gonna finish up, you guys, with Scorpio. Okay. When you're dating in 2025 and you're connected to a Scorpio who's vibrating to the lesser side of Scorpio, petty boots. Scorpio loves gossip. They're very petty. One thing about Scorpio is they will hold on to a grudge and they will not tell you. Do not trust a Scorpio that says, oh, I get over it easy. I don't really be caring. Lies! Scorpio is always looking to one-up you. They're always looking for that lick back. They want they lick back like it's nobody's business. Scorpio is the type of person that when you piss them off and they done died, let's say now years later, they done died and they in their damn casket at the funeral, honey, and you go up to Scorpio to say, oh, well, it was nice. No, Scorpio gonna get their lick back right then. They gonna wake up out their damn death, okay, to get that lick back. One thing about a Scorpio, they will hold on to a grudge forever and not tell you. They are always calculating when they gonna get their lick back and how they gonna get their lick back. It may not be physically to, do anything to you purposefully, but sometimes a Scorpio can be like, oh, I'm gonna level up just to show them. You know what I'm saying? Or, excuse me, I'm going to do this just to show them, however they get their lit back. One thing about a Scorpio, I don't have time for Scorpios, okay? Too petty. When they're vibrating to the lower side, very petty people. When I say very petty, not trustworthy. I wouldn't trust them. They can become very good manipulators, very good liars. And sometimes a Scorpio is not a good liar, but they will not tell you the truth. So they will not lie, but they'll be like, oh, I just never said anything. You like, so you knew all of this time, but you didn't say anything to me? Yes, that's how it is. To prevent from saying I lied. I didn't lie, I just didn't say nothing. That's how Scorpios can be. Like I say, very petty. This is another water energy, so it's all about emotions, okay? Scorpio rules over the 8th house, so it's about death. They can be a little obsessed with death. So if you're with a Scorpio, they can love crime movies or shows, anything about death. They can become work for the mortuary. They like doing funerals and things of that nature. They can be a little obsessed when it comes to death and talking about death and watching crime. And things of that nature, which is not bad, okay? That's not a bad aspect, but like I say, it can become very addictive. One thing about a Scorpio, when they're vibrating to the lesser side, they can become addictive and they can become lazy as well. Because Scorpio can get so consumed in the underworld that they forget to live. They forget that they are living, which means they can allow an outside force to come in and take over them while they just... okay, they're on autopilot. So when it comes to that Scorpio energy, just be very careful when you're, dealing with someone who's vibrating to the lesser aspect of Scorpio. Like I say, they love gossip. Okay, they can talk to you about everybody, anything. They love to gossip like it's nobody's business. Now, when you're dealing with a Scorpio and they're vibrating to the higher aspect of Scorpio, okay, this is somebody who probably owns a cemetery, or maybe they're a mortician, okay, or maybe they are a crime scene expert, or, maybe they are a psychic or tarot reader, or, they can be, anything like dealing with death, right? They love to deal with things of that nature. They can be a detective, a police officer, work for I don't want to say the CIA, but yeah, could be working for any of those alphabet groups. They love to find things out and investigate and things of that nature. They love the unknown. They love to discover things. So they're in healthy roles in that aspect, okay? Scorpios can also be very sensitive. They can give you great conversation. They can give you very loving conversation. Scorpio is that type that's going to tell you, I love you, before they leave, maybe when they come back. Scorpio wants a kiss before you leave. Scorpio is going to, just make sure your birthday is good. Make sure Christmas is on point. Scorpio is a very nurturing energy, whether it's a masculine or a feminine person. They're very nurturing. It's a very natural nurturing that Scorpio, when vibrating to the healthy self, will give. It will definitely want to take care of you and make sure that you are good. Just protect you. It's a very protective energy as well. So if you are, dealing with a Scorpio and they're vibrating to the higher aspect of Scorpio, you're definitely in good hands. Okay, that's like a walking insurance policy. Okay, like they're gonna make sure you good. They're gonna make sure that you are straight. They're gonna make sure that you're taken care of. Like I said, they're very nurturing. It's natural to them for them to be very nurturing. Even the masculine energy, he's gonna take care of you. He's gonna support you, and financially as well as emotionally. So it's kind of like you get a double bonus, when it comes to Scorpio energy. Okay, when they're vibrating to the higher aspect of it. Hey, Anisha. Hey, y'all. Hey to everyone who's tuned up into the building, you guys. Hello, 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 hello. Today we were talking about dating in 2025 according to the Zodiac. What you should know when you are dating someone about their Zodiac, the higher aspect as well as the lesser aspect of it. I was going to talk about the other side today, you guys, which is not only do you want to know about their Zodiac, but also dating according to their blood type. Okay, what you need to know about your certain blood types, which blood types should date and make kids, because a lot of us, when we're having children, our children tend to inherit a lot of issues because we're dating or we're mating at some point with a blood type that doesn't match. And sometimes this can cause discrepancies during the pregnancy, as well as the mom being unalive trying to give birth. Why? Is it the baby? Sometimes it can be the blood type of that baby that is attacking the mother. So these are very important things that we should know. Therefore, your girl is going to go ahead and discuss that on the next live, you guys. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I don't know, but you don't want to miss it. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out, y'all.